Takakeisho's non-promotion to yokozuna in January left the Nikkan Gendai tabloid seeking answers. Was it because of Takanohana? They mischievously asked Sumo Chairman Hakkaku. Here's that interview exchange in a wider context. Gendai. There are those who say Takakeisho should have been recommended for yokozuna. Hakkaku. Well, first of all, that's not my job. That's one for the yokozuna committee, whose reasons for overlooking him I cannot say. The fact he's not won 2 titles straight might be counting against him, but I think it goes back further than that. Before his 4 scores of 10 and above, he went 8-7 in March and May of last year, and was not looking good in either. The committee have likely factored that in. Of course, he's being discussed for yokozuna. Gendai. So what does he lack that a yokozuna needs? Hakkaku. That overwhelming blast of power at the tachiai, of the kind he showed in his early Ozeki days. Recently, while pushing away, he's been watching foes carefully and deploying the left thrust over more. Granted, his sumo's steadier that way, but unless he displays that overwhelming dynamism and power, he'll struggle to overcome the arguments against him. Gendai. Indeed, for he tends to lose a bit easily. Some liken his losses to splatting down like a frog. Hakkaku. But that's part and parcel for a pushing specialist, as I should know from my own wrestling days. And if you worry too much about losing like that, you'll never be able to attack. You must always be confident and self-assured. Gendai. Obviously, Takakeisho was trained by Takanohana, who was in conflict with sumo chiefs. Does that affect decisions to promote? Hakkaku. Come on, of course it doesn't. He needs to avoid those simple defeats. And what he must do, and I told him so at Teruno Fuji's yokozuna party, is plenty of charging practice, especially the exercise where he has to follow his partner's movements while that partner pins his neck from above. Do that well, in a near exhausted state, and he won't fall forwards in bouts. It might just get him that one extra win he so badly needs. Finally, just to add this channel's perspective, obviously these are strange sumo times with a desperate shortage of top-ranked staff. In his past 45 regulation bouts, Takakeisho has faced no yokozuna and just the one Ozeki. A crushed one at that, in a dead rubber match, and yet still lost 11 times. That cannot be considered yokozuna form. If Teruno Fuji pulls out of March, and it's still touch and go as we speak, he'll face no yokozuna or Ozeki again, and thus require at least 13 wins to properly convince the panel. After 30 months of watching him live, I can say the only time he looked yokozuna stuff was in November 2020. Based on all I've seen live, what I'm looking for is that aura I felt from Teruno Fuji on days 3 and 4 of his successful yokozuna run, where he just couldn't be beaten for movement. If Takakeisho replicates that, and corners his foes wherever they go, yokozuna must be his.